Welcome, everybody, to the Redzone Report right here on the Built in Buffalo YouTube, Facebook, and X pages. I'm your host, Izzy, and this is the Redzone Report. We're talking free agency coming up, baby. Let's go. Tomorrow, the tampering period begins, and there are already some free agents out there who've been released, and there's still some trade targets out there, and we've re-signed some of our guys. Let's get ready to free agent. Let's talk about it. Welcome, everybody, again to the Redzone Report right here on the Built in Buffalo YouTube, Facebook, and X pages. I'm your host, Izzy, and I'm here to discuss free agency because it's up tomorrow. The offseason truly begins on Wednesday at 4 p.m., I believe it is, when the new league year starts, with the official NFL legal tampering period, or the negotiating period, starts tomorrow at noon. And the Buffalo Bills have some decisions to make. They've already made some, clearly. They've released punter Sam Martin. They've released defensive end Von Miller. They've released, re-signed Terrell Bernard, Khalil Shakir, and Gregory Rousseau, all to wonderful contracts that make total sense to me. And expect some more cuts and some potential restructures, maybe some extensions for players who are overdue and more likely to affect the cap in a positive way coming this year, like Josh Allen. If he gets an extension, they can convert most this year's salary into a bonus, put a bow on it, and his career can continue to flourish right here in Buffalo. And something's going on here with my connection. We'll go ahead and boop. Nick's set in the butt right now. All right, here we go. So, I see you in the comments there, 716 Playbook, Devontae Adams to the Rams just now. I saw that right before I went live. Good for him. He got himself a little 2-year deal to go over to the Rams and play with Puka Nacua. They're shopping Cooper Kupp right now. We'll see if they get anything for him or if they end up having to cut him. Because if they end up having to cut him, that's a legitimate free agent wide receiver that the Bills could potentially go after. I don't know if they'll cut him outright, but they did re-sign Tutu Atwell as well. And so they're going to have decisions to make. But I'm happy to scoop up some players that are out there, some of our own players who are out there that I believe the Bills should bring back. And so before I get into the big guys that are out there that the Bills could bring in, I'm looking at the guys who we're getting ready to lose. Right, we're losing Amari Cooper, Rasul Douglas, Von Miller was just released, Austin Johnson, Mac Hollins, Dwan Smoot, Reggie Gilliam, Sam Martin we cut, Ty Johnson, Quentin Jefferson, Jordan Phillips, Quentin Morris, and DeMar Hamlin are all free agents once the league year starts. And I don't know if you guys watched my man Joe Marino over on Locked On Bills. He and I think a lot alike on some things, and we disagree on some things. I don't even know if he knows that I exist, honestly. So that's one thing. That's fine. I don't need everybody to know me. I don't. As my man A. Rich says, if you don't know me, please get to know me. But if you don't, I get it. Not everybody's got time for everyone and everything, so it is what it is. But guys who I think that the Bills should consider bringing back, Mac Hollins, to me, is easily somebody you need to bring back. Mac Hollins is he is Buffalo through and through. When I say that, I mean this team, this city, has embraced him on a level that I have not seen a wide receiver 5 garner in a long, long time. Like, when was the last time you had your wide receiver 5 lead your team in scoring for wide receivers? Hollins is a guy, he just fits here. He's a culture guy. He's a locker room guy. He is a glue guy, and he is a worker. He's here to put in that work and do what he's supposed to do. He blocks, right? And that's why he gets rocks, right? You get the rock thrown your way when you block. He's a big-time person for this offense. He's a person of interest to bring back just being a wide receiver 5. And he's not going to be too expensive. You know, he's out there, and his market value, I have this screen here where I'm talking to you guys, and I have a screen behind it where I'm pulling everything up. And Mac Hollins, $2.4 million a year. Like, I give him a 2-year, $4.5 million deal. Give him some incentives. I like my man Mac. Bring my man Mac back. He's just outstanding player and an outstanding human being. And he's quirky. I get it. But I think that we like his quirks, like going barefoot. No big deal. No one cares. Eating with your hands. Okay. No one cares enough to let that be some deciding factor on whether Mac Hollins comes back to the Buffalo Bills. And his PFF grading was solid. 60 overall. Receiving grade, 61.9. He was throwing the ball 48 times. He caught 31 of them. It's a pretty good percentage there. That's above 60%. So I'm all for it. 378 yards and 5 touchdowns. Sign me up for some of that for my wide receiver 5, especially since you have your big 3 guys already signed up, right? You have Curtis Samuel, you have Khalil Shakir, and you have Keon Coleman under contract for the next 2 years at least. Curtis Samuel for 2 years. You have Coleman for 3 more years. You have Shakir for now 5 more years this year coming up, and then he signed a 4-year extension. It's a no-brainer to me. You bring back Mike Collins on a 2-year deal. He's 31 years old. His job isn't really to be fast. It's to go out there and play special teams, block for the running backs, and occasionally catch some passes. And that's what he does. That's all he does. He does his job, and he does it well. So Mac Hollins is a guy who I am a big proponent for bringing back. Another guy is Reggie Gilliam, right? He doesn't command a lot of money. We're one of the only teams that really carries a fullback, but he also can play tight end. So if something happened to Dawson Knox, you can throw Reggie Gilliam out there as a tight end. He's only 6'2", but he's like 230, and the guy can play. He's a good outlet for Josh Allen. Reggie Gilliam's a guy you can bring back. And it's cheap. Also a very good core special teamer. And the third guy is Ty Johnson. Right now, Ty Johnson to me might be the hardest one of these 3 to bring back. I think that there's going to be a real substantial market for Ty Johnson. His average annual salary prediction is like $2.7 million. I don't know if the Bills want to do that, if they'll let him go test the market and then come back. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I like what Ty Johnson did for the Buffalo Bills this past year. He had more receiving yards than he had running yards, but he's a good blocker for Josh Allen. He likes to go out there, and if it's a play action pass, he's a good enough blocker. He can set a block and then come off the block and run a route. He gets downfield. Ty Johnson, Mac Hollins, Reggie Gilliam are 3 guys I think we should probably try and bring back. They're not expensive, and they're all, Bills through and through. 2 other guys the Bills could potentially bring back, and I wouldn't be mad, are Dwan Smoot. He's a good guy. He plays inside and out on the defensive line. Dwan Smoot, he's versatile in that regard, and then he's effective, right? He can get after the quarterback. He can stop the run. He's more of a 3-tech behind Ed Oliver if he's on the line in a defensive tackle position, or he's a good edge setter. You could bring him back, and I wouldn't be mad for cheap. Obviously, he's also 30 years old, so there's that. Then there's Amari Cooper, who I think if he takes a lower than market value deal to come back to Buffalo, which is possible. I don't know if the market for him is going to be huge because this past year and how it went and his injury. He's 30. His market value right now is $14.2 million. I don't see him getting that. I see him getting probably closer to 10 if he's $10 million, you throw him out there, a $10 million deal for 1 year to prove it. And then if he can play, you work with him from there if that's what happens. So we'll see what happens with Amari Cooper. But I don't foresee us bringing him back, but I wouldn't be mad at it. Right? So Dwan Smoot and Amari Cooper are two guys who I wouldn't be mad at us bringing back. The rest of those guys, Von Miller, we just released. Sam Martin, we just released. Austin Johnson, he had the 2 interceptions this year, which was pretty crazy for a defensive tackle to have 2 interceptions in the season. But outside of that, I don't think he was very effective for the Buffalo Bills. Quentin Jefferson, thanks for your service here. Jordan Phillips, I love Jordan Phillips' personality, but he doesn't, deliver a lot on the field. Every now and then he gets a sack where he, breaks contain and gets in the backfield. But outside of that, he's really useless against the run. Like he's not good against the run at all. So I can do without him. Quentin Morris, I wouldn't be mad at us bringing back if we want to just roll, with the same tight end 3. And then DeMar Hamlin, I don't see us bringing him back. It could happen, but it's not something I see. Now I'm going to address some of these comments here because I've been going on for about 12 minutes almost. And I have not addressed you people, my fans and my friends who keep me sane on Sundays. Sandra L. King, welcome. Kim Boomhauer, my man Kim. The 716 Playbook in the house. Bobby Hall, Doug Augie, Roy Collins, Chris from the 716, John Robert, Mac Millis. Let's see, who else is in here? Is there anybody else I'm missing? There we go. Easton Benjamin Gallo, Daniel Garies. What's up? Welcome, guys. I see your comments. And here we go. Mac Hollins receiving can be replaced, but his willingness and ability to competently block and play special teams may not, at least by a rookie. Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to find guys who are dedicated to the craft like he is. He's not a showstopper by any means, but he is one who will keep the show going. When our man Amari Cooper went down with the injury right after we brought him from Cleveland, what happened? Mac Hollins took the role of basically the X receiver, and he fared fairly well. Was he out there going and getting 100 yards a game? No, he wasn't. But he was definitely a guy who, if Josh threw him the ball and it hit him in the hands, he wasn't dropping many of those passes. And that's very important. If the QB puts it on you, you should probably, catch the ball. And Mac Hollins does that. So, yeah. Jacob in the house. What's up, Jacob? See, who was a punter? So right now we have Jake Camarda on the roster. And so I think they're looking at him. He was a 4th-round pick from the Buccaneers a few years ago. And they released him after, I think this was his 3rd year. And he really got off to a bad start this year. He's out of the University of Georgia. And I think that, I don't know what happened, but I think that he's the one that the Bills are hoping is going to take over. But he's going to need some competition, and I can see them drafting somebody late in the draft if they acquire a 7th-round pick. But, yeah. See, please tell me news has broke. We traded for Trey Hendrickson. That would be a dream come true. I'm not sure what kind of money he's going to want, but, yeah. Yeah. See, what does cutting Von Miller do for us? It saves us a bunch of money. We save $8.4 million. We do take like a $15 or $16 million cap hit, but we free up $8 million. If we did it as a post-June 1 cut, we would have saved $17 million this year with a $6 million dead cap and then like a $9 million dead cap next year. And so why kick that money down the road when you don't have to, right? We can create cap space this season without kicking money down the road, so that way we don't have to keep kicking money down the road, right? If you do that, you end up like the Saints, right? The Saints suck. Why do they suck? Because they don't have cap space. They find ways to continually make moves for one big player every now and then, but it hasn't panned out for them. They suck, right? Their quarterback injured all the time. Their offensive line is in shambles. Their best players are Alvin Kamara and Cam Jordan, and it is what it is. You don't want to be that team. You want to be the team that delivers results every year like the Bills do, and we're on the cusp of a Super Bowl. So why would you want to, ruin that by having so much dead cap that you can't overcome it every year. This year right now is setting up the reset for next year's cap. So not the reset for the team. Don't get it wrong here, right? But for the cap. Let's see what we got here. See, this team needs defensive help who can make an impact on free agency market. So it's funny you would ask that. That's what we're here to talk about. A couple of players were released and are available, and they're on my thumbnail, as you guys saw. Big play Slay, Darius Slay. He's 34 years old, but he just won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, and he had 0 interceptions, but he also didn't have a lot of passes thrown his way. Darius Slay had a really good year for a guy at his age, and I think he may have 1 or 2 more good years left. So if you want to bring in a guy for a 1 year, 1 year go at it, maybe he wants to try and win another Super Bowl and be a contender. He knows how to play defense against them Chiefs. The man can ball. He had a coverage grade of 68.9 according to PFF, and he allowed a passer rating this past year of 78.3. He only allowed 11.6 yards per completion, and he only allowed 32 completions. So in 17 games, he allowed less than 2 passes complete against him all year. So Darius Slay is a guy who's out there that intrigues me because he did play the whole season, didn't have any real issues, and I think Darius Slay is a guy who could potentially be brought in and help this team at CB2. He wouldn't be CB1, and I don't think he was really CB1 for the Eagles this past year. I think that he was CB2. You had Quinyon Mitchell there, and then drafting Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean allowed the Eagles to, let go of him and Bradbury. And I wouldn't bring Bradbury in, but I definitely would not be angry if the Bills went and signed Darius Slay. Like, the guy can still play. He can still play. He had 13 stops this year. He only missed 5 tackles this year. Only missed 5 tackles. He had 12 pass breakups. I like the guy. So, yeah, I'm all in here. Darius Slay is a guy. I'm not all in on Darius Slay, but if they brought him in, I wouldn't be mad at him. And Jonathan Allen's another guy on the defensive side, but he's more of a 3-tech, right? So if we were to bring him in, I'm all for bringing in more 3-tech because we're losing basically all of our defensive tackles outside of Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones, right? We have Dwayne Carter, who's also a 3-tech, but he didn't really show too much his rookie year. He got hurt, right? And we don't know the extent of the injury, whether it's going to be something that lingers. And so Jonathan Allen's another guy you can come in to bring in to rotate with Ed Oliver. He did get injured this past year. He only played 8 games. But in those 8 games, had a solid pass rush grade, right? And that's what he would be brought here to do as a defensive tackle. So you bring him in. He's basically the rotational guy with Ed Oliver and Dwayne Carter. On passing downs, you might throw him in there next to Ed. But on running downs, he's probably not going to see the field. He's not very good against the run. But he's pretty damn good against the pass. So 63 pass rush grade, overall grade 54.6, run defense grade 41.3. I like the player, but I do see his deficiencies, and I understand. He only missed – where is it? I don't even have missed tackles on here for him, so yeah. He did have 3 sacks in those 8 games, so there's that. Let's see. Well, who we got going on here? I believe since he's looking for a 2nd-round pick for Hendrickson, that's true. Also, this is a little interesting nugget. The Seattle Seahawks have decreased their asking price for DK Metcalf. It is now a 2nd-round pick. So potentially, if the Bills really wanted to, and if they could create the cap space to do it, they could trade for DK and Trey Hendrickson, which would be interesting and a baller move. That'd be a crazy baller move. Now DK is looking for $30 million a year. I'm sure Trey's looking for close to that too. I don't think that's possible for us to bring in both guys, but would be interesting. Is Josh Palmer interesting anyone or just Marino? Josh Palmer is interesting to me, but he wouldn't be a wide receiver one. He would be somebody who goes out there and plays on the outside because he is an outside receiver. He is a route runner. I'm not sure what his speed is like, but I can check that out. But he's definitely a guy who intrigues me, but he's not somebody who I'm counting on to come in here and be wide receiver one. However, we didn't really have wide receiver one this past year, and we led the league in scoring. Excuse me. We led the league in scoring last year, so that says everything you need to know about us having a wide receiver one. But Josh Palmer, slot receiver, he ran a 4.52, so he's about Gabe Davis speed wise. He's a 3rd round pick, looks like. I don't know. He's Canadian. I didn't know that about him, so that's cool. And what is measurables? Josh Palmer. He's 25 years old. He is 6'1", 3rd round pick, number 77 overall, 210 pounds. Yeah, this screams Gabe Davis to me, but with better route running and probably better hands. He also wears number 13 like Gabe, so, not to scare anybody away from him, but I do like the player. I'm not in love with the player. See, DK Metcalf says he wants to go to one other team, but you can't get everything you want, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to get everything he wants. I mean, if that's the case, then Houston better come calling. That's all I'm going to say. It better be Houston or Arizona might be a fit for him, but I doubt that they're going to trade him inside the division, so there's that. Miami doesn't have the cap space to pay him. There's Jacksonville. Maybe he goes to Jacksonville. They've got the money. He could always check out also Tampa. Chris Godwin is leaving Tampa Bay. He's a guy who's out there that I have some intrigue for, but he's injured often enough too. So I don't want to bring in somebody else's injury problems. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing I don't want to do is have somebody else's injury problems on our team. See, I don't think we could DK right though. I'm not sure if we could, but it is what it is. So DK is a diva. Every wide receiver that's a top-notch wide receiver is a diva, Sandra. Just remember that. That's why we didn't have one this year, and there was no problems, right? Like Amari Cooper might be the only one, and I didn't realize this about him before, that isn't a diva. Like all the top guys, CeeDee Lamb, diva. Stephon Diggs, diva. DK Metcalf, diva. Freaking Nuke is a diva. They're all divas, man. All of them. It's just you got like 3 or 4 of them in the NFL who aren't divas, like Terry McLaurin, not really a diva. So DK is overrated. Kind of like MVS though. I like MVS, but we tried it. It wasn't really a fit here. I don't know why, but it's neither here nor there. But where do I see Van and Diggs going? I see Diggs going to Dallas. He's going to try and go play with his brother. That's what he always wanted to do. He's made his money, and now he can go live his dream of going to play with his brother. None of my business, but, honestly, I don't care at this point in his career. Like, he was done here, and we were done with him. He went to a team that, he got hurt on, and we are here where we are at. So, but, yeah. Looking at guys that are free agents right now, though, that are not on the Bills and that are released already. It was Big Play Slay. It was Jonathan Allen. It is Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's another guy who's interesting, but he's older. And I'm not sure how much he played this year. I know he had 600 yards. He had 2 or 3 touchdowns. He had 70 targets. Like he's clearly declining. But, DK was out there taking a lot of passes from Fant, and at one point in time they were looking really good. But I like Tyler Lockett, and it's all good. If they brought him in on an inexpensive deal, I think they're saying he's worth about $7 million, $8 million. Not a bad signing there. Brandon Cooks is a wide receiver I'd be looking at too because he's just been good everywhere he goes. And this past year in Dallas, it wasn't great, but Dak got hurt, so they were playing with Cooper Rush. And he's worth about $5 million a year. So if you want to take a stab at him for a year, bring in a rookie to help teach, train these guys up, That's pretty cool. I'm cool with that. Brandon Cooks is an interesting character to me, but I think the defensive tackle spot is gonna be the big spot. Let's see. Vaughn may want to go back to Denver or home to Dallas. Diggs probably wants to play with Brandon. Yeah, I see, Daniel. That could be a thing. We'll see. Darius Slayton would probably ask $15 million per season. I mean, I can look and see what their value is. I don't know if I'd value Darius Slayton as a guy on par with Shakir's value, but you never know. Let's see. Darius Slayton. Market value. Oh. Market value is 15.8. Yeah, so he could ask for that. I don't know if he's going to get that. He was a solid wide receiver on a terrible team. Like the Giants, just quarterback trash. All the years he was there, just throwing up garbage balls up there. And I mean, he's 6'1", 194, 28 years old. He had 59 catches this year, or excuse me, his overall grade this year was 59 per PFF, 573 yards, 2 touchdowns. Darius Slayton's not a terrible player, but he's not somebody who I'd be targeting myself. Let's see. You got Deontay Johnson out there who bounced around a lot this year. His stock is declining. We could always go and get DeAndre Hopkins like we always wanted, but I think that ship of his career success has sailed. Devin Duvernay's out there. I like him as a wide receiver 5, but Mac Hollins is probably coming back, possibly. There's not a lot of guys out there. If you want speed, Nelson Aguilar is out there. Brandon Cooks is out there. Chris Godwin's out there. But Chris Godwin, he may command quite a bit of money. And the injury history is not really something I'm particularly fond of. And he's looking like he's probably going to command about $20 million. So there's the wide receiver market might be where we say, to heck with that, we'll draft one. Drafting a wide receiver might be the best bet for the Buffalo Bills this year. Let's see, Chris Godwin. This past year, he had 576 yards, 5 touchdowns. Likely hurt again this year. He grades out well on PFF, 86.3 overall grade. Receiving grade was 85.7. Let's see, receptions, 50 for 576. So he's getting almost 11 per catch, 5 touchdowns for every 100 or so yards. He's getting a touchdown. Passer rating when targeted, 127.5. He might be the guy. Chris Godwin might be the guy they go after. He's also not a true number 1 in my opinion. He's a number 2/1B. So he's not. He shouldn't be as much of a diva as a lot of these other guys are. But yeah, I'm for my man right here. John Roberts says honestly more in the draft for wide receivers. Yeah, because you don't see a lot of number 1 wide receivers hit the market. Like they're on the market for a reason because they just ran their course with their team. If you have a number 1 wide receiver and you're getting rid of him, it's probably trading. You're trading away. You're not doing anything outside of that. Now, if the Bills show interest in Chris Godwin, I'm cool with that. But he is 29, so it's like a 3-year deal max. Slayton seems like a good option if the price is right. He's a good option if the price is right. I mean, most of these guys are good options if the price is right and as long as they can fit in the scheme. And as long as they can be humble about the fact that targets are not going to be, specifically directed at you. Like we have a lot of guys and a lot of mouths to feed. Whew. Some water here. But Chris Godwin's a guy they could bring in if they want to go defense heavy in the draft, which I know a lot of us want. Right? A lot of us are really wanting that big, fat defensive tackle, 315 plus pounds, run stuffer in the draft. And that's pretty, how you say, it's pretty relevant, like the fans want that. And we're not blind. We're not dumb. We can see what, the Bills should do. But, the way we go about doing it is kind of hard. Let's see. Malik Collins, the defensive tackle, just got released by the 49ers. I am not seeing that. Is that? We got my phone to see if there's a. Oh, yep, ESPN alerts. Linebacker Jamie Sherwood is returning to the Jets for $45 million, 30 guaranteed. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing the defensive tackle getting released yet, but let's see. All right. Now back to the players out here. Wide receiver market is okay. There are guys out there if they want to bring somebody in, but I think for the most part they're kind of happy. Y'all are sleeping on Elijah Moore, 4.35 speed and another good route runner. Is he a free agent though? Like I'm looking here at free agents. I'm not seeing Elijah Moore. Let me see if he's on the list. Elijah Moore from Cleveland. Market value $4.5 million. He could be a guy to look at. Let me see what his numbers look like. I recognize the name from somewhere. Maybe it was a draft, but let's see how old he is. And he's 24 years old, so he's not been in the NFL long. His overall PFF grade is a 58.5, 585 in the building. Let's go Rochester. Receiving yards 538, 1 touchdown, 97 targets, 61 catches. He's bringing down 8.8 yards per reception. Passer rating when target 42.4. However, he was in fact a Cleveland Brown, and so I can't hold the statistics against him too much. I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on him, bring him into camp, see what he's got. If he can play, then keep him around. If he can't, well, you show him the door. Is Godwin a lot like Samuel? Curtis Samuel? No. Godwin's a route runner. Chris Godwin he's a really good wide receiver. He's a really good wide receiver. His problems have been injuries because he's been putting up numbers. Problem with him is he is 29 years old, right? So if you sign him again, you're looking at bringing him in for like 3 years max, right? Last year, he had 123 targets, 83 receptions, 1,024 yards, and 2 touchdowns in 2023. Passer rating when targeted that year, 88.3. That was Baker's first year there. 2022, 137 targets, 104 catches, 1,023 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he's consistent. Passer rating when targeted, 100. Pretty good. It's pretty good. 2021, 124 targets, 98 receptions, 1,103 yards, 5 touchdowns. Passer rating when targeted, 110. So because of the injuries, it's starting to kind of fall off the rails a little bit. But, yeah. I see Mac Millis. Lions released Zadarius Smith. I haven't gotten to defensive ends yet. I haven't gotten defensive tackles yet. We're still on wide receiver, kind of. But, yeah, Elijah Moore's a guy we can look at. I don't mind that at all. So now we're going to move over to the next position of need, which offensive line is set. I think we keep the same 9 guys we did this past year. You bring in some competition, to see if somebody gets knocked off there. But quarterback, we're set. Running back, we're set. We can probably bring in a third running back. Wide receiver, we need one. Just went over them. O-line's good. Tackle's good. Left tackle, right tackle, guard, center. Defensive line is where we're looking now. And there's some interesting candidates here that we can look at, right? And the candidates are Draymond Jones, Seattle Seahawks. He was released, I believe, and solid player. I don't have an AAV for him here, but I can see if I can't pull it up for him. Draymond Jones. We'll plug him in PFF and over the cap. See what we got here. So his career APY is $6.7 million. He's a guy you can bring in. He's 6'3", 286, so he's probably got inside and outside flex. I think that the Seahawks run more of a stout defensive line than we run. You know, we got Groot, who's like 270. But then on the other side, we ran AJ, who's like 260. And Von Miller played on our line as well. He's 250. Javon Solomon's like 245, 246. Draymond Jones, you know, he's an interior defensive lineman, I guess, according to Over the Cap from Ohio State, third round pick, 71 overall. And he was born in 97, so he's, was that 27 years old, 28 years old? 28 years old. Graded for PFF, not the best run defender, but he's a good pass defender. So he's a guy you could bring in. I think he'd probably be more of a defensive tackle for us, but they have him as an edge. He's an interesting character, but more interesting than that, I think, a guy we've been flirting with for a while. You could bring in for a year, Sheldon Rankins. He's available. DJ Jones is somebody that my man Joe Marino was big on, but I'm more big on the other guy he liked, which was BJ Hill. Now it wants to freeze a little bit. There we go. Okay. BJ Hill, Cincinnati Bengals defensive tackle, born in 95, so he's pushing 30. He's pushing 30. He's probably 29 or 30 right now. $29 years old, 6'3", 311 pounds. So he's a one tech. Run defense grade is beautiful. 69.2 run defense grade on PFF. 3 sacks. So he's not going to get you a bunch of sacks. He's more of a Daquan Jones replacement kind of guy. I like BJ Hill quite a bit. And his estimated market value. Ooh, come on now. Don't do me like that. Estimated market value for BJ Hill is come on. Interior defensive lineman BJ Hill, $9 million per year, according to Over the Cap, and $9 million according to Spot Rack. So those numbers seem consistent. He's a guy I would very much be interested in bringing in. You bring him in, you have Daquan Jones. You can then draft a guy. It'd be pretty nice. It'd be pretty nice. Someone said Josh is paid. What do you mean Josh is paid? Did something just happen that I missed? We got some more breaking news. A new NFL mark. The Bills and Josh Allen reached an agreement on a new record-setting 6-year, $330 million contract that includes $250 million guaranteed, the largest guarantee ever given to an NFL player. Sources tell ESPN Allen had 4 years left on his deal, but the Bills still rewarded their franchise quarterback with a new benchmark deal. Let's go, Josh. Let's go, big man. Make that money, baby. Ooh. Hell yeah. All right, Josh. I see you. I wonder how much they freed up with that contract, because that's crazy. That is crazy. 6 years, $330 million. Let's go, Josh. Whoa, I'm happy for him. You know. Man, oh man. Congratulations, Josh. As my man Bobby Hall in the comments saying, bang, bang, let's go. Got our boy locked up forever. Whew. Damn, that's crazy. Good for you, Josh. Oh, you like the phone case? Matt Milano, man. Matt Milano. It's actually a clear phone case. All right, let's check it out. Stupid phone case. Uh-oh. Internet's acting up again. But yeah, it's actually a stick it. That's a magnet. With my man Matt Milano on the back of my phone, and then just a clear phone case. As I told you guys, Matt Milano is my favorite defensive player on the Buffalo Bills since he got to Buffalo. I'm very unfortunate with his injuries, but that's my guy. I got that at stickit.com, and yeah. Let's see. People sleeping on James Cook's worth to the softens or scare. What? I don't know what that means. Softens or scare. So this offense are crazy. Ray Davis is an awesome back as well, but it's a totally different skill set. No one else provides that. Take it to the house in a second. There are other running backs that do provide that. We don't have one right now. I do think that James Cook's going to get paid now that we've seen Aaron Jones get $20 million for 2 years. But I don't think it's going to be a long contract. They'll probably give him a 3-year, $45 million or 3-year, $40 million. Give him some incentives. But yeah. Oh, yeah, Keem, we saw that, baby. We saw that. Yeah, we announced that. Let's go. Live on the air. One of our commenters in here said, Josh got paid. I said, hang on, what do you mean by that? I had to grab my phone, and I had the Adam Schefter news there. Hell yeah, I can't wait to see what this contract's going to do for the cap. I'm hoping that it helps the cap. But I'm sure that the Mahomes deal probably was used as like a template for it, so we'll see what happens. $330 million, baby. Woo! $250 million guaranteed, the most guaranteed ever. Yep. That's going to be a nice wedding, huh, Josh? It's going to be a nice wedding. Yeah. All right. Back to the content, though. BJ Hill's the interior defensive lineman who I'd love to see the Bills target. Hopefully they're creating cap space right now with the re-signing of Josh Allen, and they can afford something like that. Bring in BJ Hill, give him a 2-3 year deal. Bring in a rookie, and Daquan's deal expires after this year. Then you have a rookie with BJ Hill. Yeah. Give me that. Let's go, Josh. Oh, yeah. Woo. Who's the other guy out here that we can take a look at? Let's go to edge rushers, right? Defensive line, there's not a lot of guys out there that I'm looking at defensive tackle. Roy Robertson Harris is out there. Don't really know much about him. Raekwon Davis, don't really know much about him. DeMarcus Walker from the Bears. Bears defense was pretty trash this year, so I'm not really counting on that. Javon Kinlaw's out there. I mean, he'd be an inexpensive option. Greg Gaines. Yeah, the draft or BJ Hill is basically the options I'd be looking at for defensive tackle. Edge rusher. Let's see what we got. So, Joey Bosa was released. Von Miller was released by us, obviously. Those two guys are available right now. So if the Bills want to bring back Von at super cheap, I guess they could do that, but who wants to see that? I think most of us Bills fans are over it. I wouldn't mind seeing him stay here this year, but I understand the move because it saves a lot of money. You got, Joey Bosa out there, but he's been hurt a lot. Like a lot. The last 3 years, just debilitating injury after debilitating injury after debilitating injury. The Chargers had enough, cut him, and saved $25 million. They don't even have a market value for him or Von yet because they're just so freshly released from their teams. Khalil Mack is out there. He's 34 years old. I'm sure you can get him for pretty cheap because he's 34 years old, and that's what happens to defensive ends at that age. They become fairly cheap. He had 6 sacks last year for the Chargers, and it's interesting, how that works. But same time, I don't know if I'm really interested in Khalil Mack. I do like the idea of him coming here as a rotational player, but there's a lot to look at here, a lot to unpack. Hassan Reddick is a free agent. He was with the Jets this past year. He didn't want to be there, and so yeah, it's an interesting way to look at that too. Hassan Reddick, he's a linebacker like Vaughn was, as is Matt Judon, who's a free agent now. They're both over 30 though. 30 and a half years old for Hassan Reddick, 32 and a half for Matt Judon. DeMarcus Lawrence is out there, but he's mostly a run stopper. We have that already in Greg Rousseau. Preston Smith's out there. He's 32 years old. He's also more of a run stuffer at this point. Za'Darius Smith, though, is one that's interesting to me. I was talking to my built-in Buffalo brethren in our group chat earlier today, and he had 8 sacks this year, and he was on 2 different teams, or he had 9 sacks this year. He was on 2 different teams, and he was still able to pick up where he usually is. And he's a guy you can bring in probably fairly cheap. I know a lot of Bills fans are clamoring for Josh Sweat, and I've made my feelings felt about that. I know my man Joe Marino loves him some Josh Sweat. He's 28 years old, or about to turn 28, and I really don't know. I really don't know. They got Khalil Mack at $23.6 million a year. You are out of your mind. That calculator is fudged. Yes, sir, I did. One of our good patrons here, our fans here, built in Buffalo, said Josh got paid. I looked it up on my phone, and I announced it, good sir. Yes, sir. I'm guessing this is Lance, but yeah, Josh got paid $330 million, $250 million guaranteed, 6-year deal. From this point forward, I think, I don't know if it's that is a 6-year extension, but they're basically just paying him his market value, right? If Tua's worth what he got, and Joe Burrow's worth what he got, and Josh is worth what he got now, the market is set. We will see what happens. Hopefully, they're not just doing that to get the Chiefs to blow up their money with Mahomes, but hey, hopefully the cap for this year and the next few years is taken care of with this deal with Josh. We'll see what happens. But my man Bobby Hall, yes, I did talk about it. And I'll talk about it as many times as I need to, because that's awesome that Josh got his money. He earned it. Congratulations, Josh Allen. But Josh Sweat is a guy that a lot of Bills fans are clamoring about. To me, he's like Greg Rousseau, but he's not as good. Grading-wise, he's not as good. And just plain, get off. I know my man Joe Marino loves his tape, and I do respect my man Joe Marino. He is a tape watcher. He watches the film a lot, and I respect it. But he had Milton Williams, he had Jordan Davis, and I'm forgetting the other guy on the Eagles who I'll just pull it up because it's easier that way. Let's see. Yep, I definitely did say that. We already talked about that. That was before the show started, so like that one got in here kind of quick. So Josh Sweat played on a line, or he was an outside linebacker, right? Defensive line was Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, right? That D-line is nasty. Those three basically defensive tackles. They run a 3-4, so there's basically 2 3 techniques and a 1 tech. And he had Zach Vaughn next to him. Like, yeah, that front 7 was just out of your mind. And so I don't know if Josh Sweat is the guy that is going to really benefit here in Buffalo unless you get that 1 tech. Like, you have to get that 1 tech if Josh Sweat's your target. If you target Josh Sweat, you better do something in the draft to get you a 1 tech. You better. Because he benefited heavily from having those guys on that line with him. Now, I don't dislike Josh Sweat, but if you pull up his grades, he doesn't grade near as high as Greg Rousseau on PFF. And I know a lot of people don't take that super serious, but I take it somewhat serious. He was right on par with Greg Rousseau in sacks. They both had 8. I think PFF has Rousseau at 9 because he had like 8.5, so they count that half as a full sack. Whatever. Total pressures 54. He was 21st in the league in that. I mean, he's not a bad player. I just don't know if he's the guy that we should target. That's just where I'm at on that. If we do, you got to go get a 1 tech. You have to. You think we have a chance on getting Metcalf? I think we have a chance at it, but I don't know if that's the move, man. He wants $30 million a year. He wants to play in warm weather, and the asking price is a 2nd-round pick. So the question is, are you willing to give up a 2nd-round pick, pay $30 million, and have him not necessarily be happy about playing cold weather? So, I know he's not going to get all his demands met, right? He's probably not going to Arizona because that's within their division. He's probably not going to Miami. They don't have the cap space. I mean, Jacksonville and Tampa are probably options. New Orleans, they got their own cap issues as well. Houston is a potential landing spot. Dallas, they got to clear some cap too, but that would be crazy. DK and CeeDee Lamb in Dallas would be nuts. You look at what other places? San Fran, they're within the division. The Chargers is a spot that you could look at if they have the cap space. So there's a chance that we go and get them, but like I don't know if the price is worth it. But I'm for getting DK Metcalf. If we can make that work, I'm all for it. Let's see. DK to Steelers. DK was just traded to the Steelers. Oh, snap. And I do have another ESPN alert. No, I don't. Yes, I do. DK Metcalf. Seattle is sending DK Metcalf to the Steelers per sources. Seattle has traded QB Geno Smith to the Raiders and DK. Yep. DK is the Steeler. Yeah. Well, there it is. No more DK Metcalf. So it looks like a lot of the dominoes that we're looking at as Bills fans in the trade market are falling apart. Still looking at you, Trey Hendrickson. Let's make this happen. Let's make it happen. I'm down for Trey Hendrickson. But back to the defensive end market here, or the edge rusher market. Matt Judon, Preston Smith, Darius Smith, Josh Sweat. Chase Young's out there. He is young. He is, in fact, very young. I liked him coming out of college. In the NFL, he's proven to be more of a run stopper guy, but I'm sure he can get some sacks. Let me see. Chase Young. Pull up his numbers, see what his sack totals and pressures and stuff are. And his PFF grades. I like PFF because they got the grading system and then they give you the stats, right? So you can look at the stats there. Let's see. Man, my internet is going slow right now. What is going on here? Oh, there's another alert. Steelers are sending a second-round draft pick to the Seahawks and flipping picks in the 6th and 7th rounds per sources. Okay. I don't know what's sending that, but yeah, it's fine. Man, oh man. DK won't be happy in Pittsburgh. Not if they don't get a good quarterback. He won't. They got to get themselves a quarterback. Could that be a sign that they're bringing Russ back? You know what I'm saying? Like, could they be bringing Russ back? I don't know. Chase Young's PFF grade this year was 66.4. He played 740 snaps, 66 pressures. It's pretty good. Pass rush grade 66. Okay, so I might have been wrong there. 7 sacks on a terrible New Orleans Saints defense. That defense was trash. He had nothing to help him on the inside there. And it seems like he might be improving his career. Okay. Chase Young's out there. His value is $17.5 million. He's a guy you might be able to go after. I like that idea right there. I like that, yeah. Chase Young is a guy we could look at. Dietrich Wise, he's more of a inside-outside flex kind of guy. Foley Fatukasi, another bigger guy. Lorenzo Carter, John Cominsky. Yeah, there's not a lot here that I'm excited about. Cleveland Farrell, Morgan Fox, Landon Roberts, K'Lavon Chason. I mean, all right. Dante Fowler had a pretty solid year for Washington this year. He's a guy who's sneaky that you could potentially pick up on the cheap and see what happens there. Dante Fowler Jr. By the way, if you guys can't see me, like if I cut it or out, let me know. Like, put it in the chat. In fact, I'm gonna pull this broadcast up on my phone just to see. Redzone report. Just want to write him down. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Look good. Just making sure because my internet's been kind of spotty today. Yeah, they're gonna keep Russ. My man Tommy Cook says they're gonna keep Russ. Okay. Well, that would explain that then. If they're gonna keep Russ, then You bring in one of the guys he's familiar with, knows how they played together. They have chemistry already instantly. There it is. See, man, the dominoes are starting to fall right now during the show. It's crazy. Like I went live at the perfect time. Devontae Adams signs right before the show. Josh Allen gets paid his big money. DK gets moved during the show. Like 7:00 Sunday, man. It's an awesome slot. It's an awesome slot. But yeah, the defensive end market, outside of the few guys who I listed earlier, maybe you get Khalil Mack on a cheap deal. Hassan Reddick, I like him. Could bring in Matt Judon for a year, but I think that ship is probably sailed to him. Zadarius Smith, Josh Sweat are guys I wouldn't mind. Chase Young's a guy I wouldn't mind. But after that, I'm kind of over it. There's not a lot of guys who I'm sitting here pounding the table for. So Asante Samuel as a free agent cornerback signing. Any thoughts on him? Let me pull that up. I forgot about corner. Thank you for reminding me, corner, because the rumor is we're trading Kaiir Elam. I haven't seen anything official on that, so we'll see what happens. But trading him to the Panthers for a conditional pick, I'm not sure if that actually happened or not. I mean, if it did, it's not really news to anybody outside of Bills fans and Panthers fans. He's still on the Bills, so no trade is official for Kaiir Elam. Let's see. I know my man Joe Marino loves Charvarius Ward, and I like him too, but he's 30. You brought up Asante Samuel Jr. Let's see, where are you at? Asante. Asante Samuel Jr. He is 25 and a half years old, former Charger. His market value is also the Dante Fowler Jr. His value is $5 million a year. I was talking about defensive ends. Bring him in for a year. He was sneaky good for the Commanders. And let me look at his final numbers that he posted with them this year. And he had a kind of a career resurgence with the Commanders this year. Graded at a 62.1. He had 11 sacks this year. Dante Fowler Jr. is an option at defensive end. Asante Samuel Jr. looks to be commanding around $11 million a year. 1 second, please. So looking at like $11.5 million per year for Asante Samuel Jr. He was not re-signed by the Chargers. I'm not sure what their cap is looking like for the Chargers. I don't know if they're good on the cap or if they're pretty terrible. Let me see. Also, we plug in Asante Samuel here. Dante Fowler Jr. sneaky possible pickup for the Buffalo Bills. Those 11 sacks this past year. Again, if you bring him in, though, you got to get yourself a one tech in the draft. Asante Samuel Jr., passer rating allowed, 87.3, not bad. Yards per reception, 10.7, not bad. Receptions allowed, 12. Wow, okay. 4 stops. He had no interceptions, but he didn't grade out great. He graded out as a 59.3 overall, coverage grade 58.6, run defense grade 59.8. I'm less concerned with those grades right there. The actual raw statistics are telling me that he played fairly well. And he'd be CB2 here, obviously, because Christian Benford CB1. I wouldn't be mad at that. Asante Samuel makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. See, is Jeremy Chin a free agent safety? He I think he is, actually. I've heard a lot of people talking about Jeremy Chin, and I know that he's one of my man Joe Marino's crushes since the draft there. I'm not as high on him as Joe Marino is, but I'm higher on him than I am Taylor Rapp, you know? I'm higher on him than I am Taylor Rapp. And so if I go straight up secondary, Mike Hilton's out there. He's 31. Eric Stokes from the Packers is apparently available. Richie Grant from the Falcons is available. Javon Holland is a free agent. He's going to be way out of our price range, though. Javon Holland for the Dolphins. Look, you and I all hate the Dolphins, right? Javon Holland was a problem, though. That dude can ball. If the Bills landed him somehow, that make me a pretty happy guy. See, the Chargers have the second most cap space with $93 million, and they were not interested in signing Asante Samuel. He may not be part of their defensive. He may not be a fit in their defensive scheme that they're wanting to go with going forward. See, how much cap room now with Allen extension? We don't know yet. Like, it's so new that the contract parameters are not yet released to the public, so we'll see what happens then. See, Javon Hollins is 25. Javon Holland. You might be using talk to chat, though. So he is 25 years old, 25 years and 1 month old. So he just turned 25. $15.1 million is going to be his asking price, and I don't need to look up his PFF. He's outstanding. I'm not even going to bother looking at his PFF. But his price is going to be way out of our range. I think I would not mind bringing Javon Holland along, but man, that's a hard one. That is a hard one. Let's see. For some reason, it came off of secondary. Travarius Ward is a guy I like, but if you're going to look at guys who are really good corners, DJ Reed of the Jets is coming available. He's a pretty good player. Jonathan Jones is a free agent, but he's 31 and a half, and I really don't like the way he's played in New England. I know some people love him, but Byron Murphy is a free agent. I do like Byron Murphy. He played for the Vikings this year. And he's 27, just turned 27, but he's going to command $22.5 million. So, yeah, he's probably out of our range, too, if we plan on paying our boy Christian, Dante Jackson, Mike Hilton, Marcus Epps, Rayshon Jenkins, C.J. Henderson, Xavier Woods is out there. Remember, we had him before. He's a safety now. Shaquille Griffin is a free agent. Ronald Darby's still out there, 31, playing. Good for him, man. Dane Jackson. If the Bills wanted to go cheap, they could bring back Dane Jackson. And I know that Bills fans don't want to hear that because we've played that game before. And while he's a solid player, he's a fit here, but almost nowhere else. So it'd be dirt cheap bringing Dane Jackson back. But, yeah. T likes Ward also. Be more specific with Ward. Kick the tires on Zadarius Smith, maybe. I like that. I would kick the tires on it. Some of my fellow built-in Buffalonians, they don't like the idea of it because he's been known to have kind of an attitude problem. If it's a 1-year deal, all right. See, Jeremy Chin is available, waiting for his page to load. Everybody must be on Spot Track trying to find out how much these guys are getting paid or what their contracts are looking like. This is crazy. $6.1 million for Jeremy Chin per year. He's 27 and 11 days old, so he just turned 27. Yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing in Jeremy Chin. I think we have an out in the contract of our own Taylor Rapp. I don't know if it's this year or next year, but there is an out in his contract. And it's not a big contract anyway, so if they wanted to move on or keep him around, I do like Taylor Rapp, but there's always room for improvement. See, Bean has no interest in trading draft picks. He lives growing his own and missing on defensive line picks like Epinesa and Basham. I don't think I'd call Epinesa a miss. He definitely missed on Basham, but Epinesa is not a miss. Epinesa is a good rotational defensive end who gets 6 sacks every year. And he plays 35% of the snaps, 35 to 40% of the snaps every year, and gets you six sacks like clockwork. I wouldn't call Epinesa a failed pick. Was he worth the second-round pick that we drafted him at? Maybe not, but also maybe. Like, the value is there. Let's see. So, there's a potential out with Taylor Rapp. If we cut him, we would save $4.575 million, and we would take a dead cap hit of $1.333 million. So if they wanted to go after a better safety like a Jeremy Chin, if they thought he fit, that's the way to go. But yeah, back to the comment that I disagree with 50% of that, which is the Epinesa part. Epinesa is a good defensive end. He's not great, but he's good. He's good at one thing. So yeah, guessing everyone saw DK Fistos. Yes, sir. We sure did. See, Andre Cisco is only around 3 to 4 million AVV. Let me see. Andre Cisco. Let me pull him up. Chin, Julian Blackman's out there. I liked him last year. I don't know. What happened there. I think he went to a different team. Jordan Fuller, Mike Davis, MJ Stewart, DeMonte KZ, Eric Stokes, Emmanuel Mosley, Cisco. I thought I just saw him. Control F. Andre Cisco. Free safety from the Jags. I've seen him play. I like the player. Once it pulls up, we'll see what happens. Andre Cisco, average salary. Say AV is $10.8 million. Not 3 to 4. He's 10.8. I'll plug him into over the cap as well to see what they got for him. But yeah, no, that's not what that is right there. Overthecap.com. Andre Cisco. I do like the player though. Don't get me wrong. My internet is being freaking clunky. They have his over the cap valuation for 2024, 3.19. So I'm going to say it's going to be somewhere between the 3.19 and the 10.8. So probably around 6 or 7. And he's 25 years old, 6 foot, 209 pounds, out of Syracuse. 3rd round pick by the Jaguars, number 65 overall. He's a Syracuse guy, so I do like that too. For some reason, Syracuse produces good safeties. I don't know what the heck's up with that. But yeah, I like that. I wouldn't mind that at all. Let me see what his production was like. When he played for the Jags this year, and the Jags were freaking awful, terrible. But 6 foot 210. They have him at 24 years old here on PFF. So these sources don't line up. He played 979 snaps. He had 1 interception, 58.8 overall grade. Run defense grade of a 63.7. So he is, in fact, the Taylor Rapp replacement player. Passer rating allowed 125.7. That's an owie. He allowed 19 yards per reception. He is a safety, so his job was mostly probably to help in pass coverage. So, yeah. All right, you going into games? Yeah, I'll probably end up going to some games this year. I gotta look at the schedule too and see which opponents we are, and the even number games are usually the ones that I'm off for, so we'll see what happens. I went to the Colts game this past year. It's pretty cool. See, DK also signed a 5-year, $150 million contract with the Steelers. Dang! Got paid. He got what he wanted, $30 million a year. $30 million a year. Yeah, and he looks like a Steeler. Like, just be real. Like, DK looks like a Steeler. Just a big, freaking, strong guy. Like, yeah. Freaking John Henry in the house. That dude's big and strong and fast. And, yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I like DK. I wish we would have got him, but, now seeing he got exactly what he was asking for, yeah, that wasn't going to happen. And it looks like the Seahawks are headed for a big reset. They're pushing the reset button. They're acquiring assets and looking to rebuild that whole team. I kind of saw it coming. I just didn't know that they would, push the button that hard. Like they just released all the nukes and blew up the whole team. See, Yeah, we're not doing that. Boop. Boop. And just saw Asante Samuel Jr. might be signing with the Jets for almost $46 million. Tampering hasn't started yet, so if that's coming out, then they are doing some illegal shit right now. Tampering period doesn't start till tomorrow. So let them get caught tampering. I'll be down. They can lose a draft pick over that. All right. Oh, I agree. I'm not saying that they shouldn't reset. I'm just saying I didn't expect them to like go that hard on the reset. Like they're going heavy on the reset. And so when you reset to the point where you're dropping your quarterback, your starting quarterback, you're dropping your best wide receiver on the team, you're losing Tyler Lockett to free agency, which whatever. And then you're also letting a lot of guys on the defensive side go. Like if you go to the spot track and you look at the Seahawks, so you go to all players, and we go to Seattle Seahawks. Draymond Jones. So they're only losing 5 players. Okay. Stone Forsythe tackle, Trey Brown cornerback, Roy Robertson Harris defensive tackle, Tyler Lockett, and Draymond Jones. So I thought it was way worse than that. Unless they cut a bunch of people, which they should tank the season. They should do a lot of things, but we'll see. All right. Yeah, that's basically it for the players that I was thinking about. Let's go ahead and see about a potential mock pool. What do you guys think? You guys want to do a quick mock draft? Let's see what we got. Yes, we'll take that down. We're gonna present boards. Share the screen. Boom. Mock draft. Here we go. So, of course, we're picking our Buffalo Bills. So we're doing all 7 rounds. We're going to drop the speed to fast. Maybe a little less than fast. Well, yeah, we'll go half speed. And put that up a little bit. Care for positional value, randomness. Okay, yeah. We're doing a mock. Let's go. Oh, I'm not going for that record, Roy. That was crazy. That one draft I did where I did a bunch of mock drafts last year. And there was one where I traded for everything. Kenneth Grant. I like Kenneth Grant. Let's see if he falls to us. All right. Let's see if he falls to us. We're going to go ahead and start the draft. Boop. Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Will Campbell, Abdul Carter. First quarterback off the board was Cam Ward to the Raiders. Travis Hunter to the Titans. Mason Graham to the Browns. Will Campbell, Abdul Carter, Ashton Genty to the Jags. I can't see that happening. Ted McMillan to the Jets. I can see that. Yeah, they lost Devontae, and they're trading. They got Lazard on the block. All right, let's see what these other teams do. We're outside of the top 10, and the Panthers took Armand Membu. Good pick there. Protect your quarterback. Bryce Young looked good this year, so yeah, protect your QB. Jihad Campbell, wow, all the way up at 9 overall to the Saints. Okay. Tyler Warren, tight end to the Bears. Okay. Michael Williams, edge rusher to the Niners, and then Will Johnson to the Cowboys, cornerback out of Michigan. So you got the Dolphins taking a safety, Malachi Starks. Kenneth Grant went already to the Seahawks right there. So that's our boy right there that Bills Mafia is really, really clamoring over, and he's gone in our mock draft already. So that's not going to happen, guys. Sorry. Let's see who else falls to us. Walter Nolan's gone. Luther Burden's gone. Let's see who is on the board. We got 4 teams that want to trade with us. The Giants, the Jags, the Colts, and the Texans. So the Giants, who's on their board, though? That's the question here. So Derek Harmon, defensive tackle from Oregon. Click that. He is 6'5", 310. It's a big boy. He is a gap shooting. He's a 3 technique. Okay, so he's not somebody that I would exactly be targeting. Nick Scarton from Texas A&M. Demetrius Knight. Alec Ayamayor, or Maynor from Stanford. Wide receiver TJ Sanders. Yep, we're looking at a trade. So, boom, we'll take 34, send you 30. We want a 3rd-round pick. So, we'll take 104. Is that a 3rd-round pick? Yeah, it's a 3rd-round pick. Let's see. Come on. Come on. 104 is a 4th-round pick. Come on. There you go. Okay. So maybe the Giants aren't the team. Maybe it's the Jags. Move back to 36. Get 36 and 70. Give them 30 and 108. And try and get a later pick from that. No, that's not going to be it. Boom. They denied it. Okay. Boom. So we gave them 30th and 108. We get 36 and 70 and 198 or 195, excuse me. Resume the draft. Shedeur Sanders, a 2nd-round pick in this mock draft. Holy crap. To the Browns. Okay. Okay. So now is where I take my defensive tackle, who I have 2nd, Tyleik Williams from Ohio State. He is a big boy as well. 6'3", 327. He is an impact interior defensive lineman who excels at holding the line of scrimmage. His lack of pass rush production makes nose tackle his best projection. Boom. That's exactly what we're looking for. A 1-tech nose tackle. Bam. Drafted. See, I'm seeing Joshua Farmer. So you did over the cap has him at like 3.2, but Spot Track has him at 10.8. So it's probably somewhere in between those two. Joshua Farmer. I don't know. Alfred Collins being here right now is interesting to me too, because he's also a 1-tech, I believe. 6'5", 320. See, play anywhere on the line. Yeah, okay. He's a guy I would take if I hadn't already drafted the other guy. Got Cam Scatterbo here, Carson Swearinger, running backs Quinshawn Judkins, and Jack Sawyer, the edge rusher, who is the guy I'm looking at right here, right now. I do like me some Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. And we do need edge help. He is a freaking dog. You pull up his numbers here. He had his worst game against Oregon and Penn State, which is understandable. Those two teams have really good defensive lines. Notre Dame was actually pretty rough as well. Talking about teams with really good defense or offensive lines. Pressure grade, 89.4. 89.4. Wow. He played all 13 games in 2023, and in 2024, he played 16 games. He had 10 sacks, 16 QB hits. Yeah, okay. I like me some Jack Sawyer. Joshua Farmer. John Robert, tell me what position he plays. I'm forgetting what position that guy is. I'm familiar with the name, but Joshua Farmer. I'm horrible with Come on. See an edge. He's he's a defensive tackle. He's only 305 pounds, though. He's not really what we're looking for. Second round, I'm going to take Jack Sawyer. It's Ohio State back-to-back, baby. I'm not a big Ohio State fan, so don't get that twisted, guys. I do like Ohio State just fine. I don't have anything against them, but yeah. All right, third round, cornerback Darian Porter, who I really like, is here. Coverage grade 91. Look at his size, 6'4", 200 pounds. Wow, he's tall. Hell yeah. So rare prospect. He's a wide receiver turned cornerback with ideal ball skills, ranks above the 95th percentile in height and length, and has an elite track background that translates to the field. He is still raw, just a one-year starter, despite being a sixth-year player. Analysis, let's take a look. See, alluring length, really smooth, natural mover, given the right height. Elite recovery speed and acceleration. Receiver background makes him natural at the catch point. Understands taking on blocks and funneling back. Hip flips and acceleration. Does not have as much experience as a corner. Handled fairly easily against pulling O-line. Well, pulling O-line isn't going to handle him. That's how it works. He's a corner. Lacks reps as corner show up in anticipation, especially when approaching the tackle. Punch and press can be a bit mistimed. Well, we're not asking to press. We are a mostly zone defense here. Let's see what else is available here. Kyle Kennard, edge rusher. Benjamin Morrison, corner, Notre Dame. 6 foot 190. Okay. Smooth moving man coverage corner. Okay. That already turns me off because we did that with Kaiir Elam. Didn't go well. But pick 62. Let's see. Young Jordan Phillips in the fourth round. I don't know if we want another Jordan Phillips, man. Let's see. Jordan Birch. I did acquire a third round pick, so yeah, we can do that. But for now, Darian Porter, was he projected to be again? Zone coverage, 91 grade. That's what I'm going with, third round. Got us a nice little corner. I see you guys saying wide receiver, Roy. I'm thinking wide receiver in the third round. This draft is not really wide receiver heavy like that. I wish it was more wide receiver friendly, but it's just not that year. Wide receiver, Jalen Royals, Utah State. Savion Williams from TCU. We're at 70. And these guys are basically reaches at this point. However, if you look at our next draft pick, 131, that's way down the line. I don't know if I want to wait that long. Isaiah Bond is here. I do like Isaiah Bond. Let me pull him up again. 5'11", 180. Bond's world-class speed will be covered likely in the top 50. Not just a fast player. His ranked at 104, so I might trade back. I know you're looking at me, freaking Roy. We're not trading with the Jets, so I'll trade back with the Steelers. Take 85, 52 for 70. And 131. Boom. And we'll get our wide receiver right where I want to get him. Isaiah Bond. See, best part of mock drafts is roasting every pick. Hey, man, roast them. See, draft a punter, first round. Yeah. We have a punter. We have Jake Camarda. And the dreaded 1-2-2, which you guys wouldn't get this, an inside joke between me and my compatriots. We have Jonas Sanker here, safety from Virginia, who I do like. Offensive line, I don't think it's going to be a priority this draft because we are pretty solid there. We have all of our starters returning. Alec Anderson returning. We have Tyler Grable returning. Like, we're pretty good there. Jonas Sanker, let's see, check out his size. 6'1", 210. Analysis. Oh, here's the guy. Coverage grade 74. Run defense grade 66. Yep. And we do need to replace safety. DeMar Hamlin is no longer on the football team. I almost said no longer with us. That would have been a very poor choice of words. Draft. Get our safety. Best player on the board at that point. Get you a safety. No, I traded back to go get a receiver. I did not trade up. I traded back. So I was at 70, and I wanted Isaiah Bond, and I wasn't going to trade with the Jets to let them move up. And I also wasn't trying to trade the whole farm, so I traded with the Steelers back. Went from 70 to 85 and went from 131 up to 122. 171. We have quarterbacks on the board. Quinn Ewers falling all the way to 139 ranking and pick 171 compensatory pick. Wow. Okay. Kyle McCord is on the board. Jackson Hawes. So Jackson Hawes is interesting to me if we decide not to keep Quentin Morris. He is mostly a blocking tight end, and so Quentin Morris kind of serves in that role. But we already have that jumbo tight end that we run. If you wanted to have that be an actual tight end, then this is the kind of guy that you're going for. 6'5", 260 pounds. Doesn't provide much in the receiving game, but he's a good tight end 3 for the NFL team to use in heavier offensive packages. I do like that. I wouldn't mind doubling up on defense or getting a defensive player like Cody Lindenberg from Minnesota. 6'3", 240 linebacker. You can replace Balin Spector with this young man here. See, now that Vaughn is gone, Groot can play the side he normally likes. There you go. Positivity, baby. The power of positivity. But, yeah, Cody Lindenberg, run defense grade, pretty good. Pass rush grade, about average. Coverage grade 61. The NFL, to me, I've already said this before on other shows, is moving towards bigger linebackers because you're moving towards bigger backs. You're seeing a lot more big backs. I mean, you have James Cook still, but a lot of the running backs that are coming out, especially this year, 210 is probably their average height and weight. You know, like 5'9" to 6 foot, 200 to 220 pounds. That's kind of the range that they're coming out now. You're not seeing a lot of 180s. You see a few of them, but they're not going to be guys that are prioritized in the draft. Drink it, the water. All right. So, I wouldn't mind taking a linebacker there. We have picks 171, 175, and 178. So, no real wrong answers here. I wouldn't mind taking a quarterback like Kyle McCord or Quinn Ewers to back up Josh. To me, that's a no-brainer because you can then let go of Mitch Trubisky, which saves you $2.5 million, and you can let go of Mike White, who looked like hot garbage this past year, and have a rookie fifth-round pick, kind of like we tried to do with Jake from State Farm that one year. Yeah. Another tight end here, Thomas Fidone from Nebraska. 6'6", 255. Analysis, nothing there. Stats. Yeah, no, I'll pass on that guy. So if I was going to go tight end, I'd go Jackson Hawes, blocking tight end. Quarterback, I'd probably go Kyle McCord. I think he's far more poised than Quinn Ewers. I know Quinn Ewers is more of a physical specimen, but I think Kyle McCord would be a better QB if he had seen a significant time. Danny Stutzman is the linebacker I like out of Oklahoma. I really like this kid out of Oklahoma. 6'4", 241. If you want a thumping downhill linebacker, Stutzman is your guy. He's too often a liability in coverage, though, so he would not be a guy who you'd try and replace Terrell Bernard with, but he is a guy that if you have Dorian Williams and you don't decide to re-sign him, Danny Stutzman's a guy who plays a lot like that. And then you have the other guy, Cody Lindenberg, who run defense grade solid, pass coverage grade solid. What was our boy Stutzman? Pass coverage grade pretty trash. He's a hell of a leader though. Danny Stutzman out of Oklahoma is a hell of a leader. Tyler Shuff, quarterback from Louisville, he's doing his thing. He's looking pretty good. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, what's he looking like? His pass rush grade's pretty crap. Run defense grade's up there. 6'5", 280, so he's more like an Ed Oliver, but tall. Let's see. Tonka Hemingway, pass rush grade 73.5, run defense grade 66 or 65.2, 6'3", 288. So we're looking at the smaller defensive tackles here. Man, I'm going to go ahead and take the QB. Common Cord. Boom. Right? But I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's over and out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we weren't going to get him, I'm glad that we're not sitting here twiddling our thumbs hoping for it. You know? Let's see. Cody Lindenberg. It's a Buffalo Bill right there. And then Quinn Ewers still on the board. Stutzman on the board. Here's a smaller back from Delaware. Marcus Yarns. He's like 180, 183. He's more of a receiving back. But he's not going to be a guy who can block for you. So he's a guy I wouldn't really pick up. You could pick him up, put him on the practice squad if you wanted to. But you just drafted Ray Davis. And if you bring back Ty Johnson, you don't need another receiving back because you have a big 210-pound receiving back in Ty Johnson who can block in the pass game. So I'd avoid that guy. I've heard of Bashal Tootin, 5'11", 209, speedy slasher that can succeed behind his own blocking scheme, boasting the movement skills to be productive between the tackles, and his vision becomes more confident there. He must improve his pass protection and ball security skill. Okay, so yeah, he's a no. Apparently put the ball on the carpet way too much. Tim Smith, defensive line, Alabama. First look, 6'4", 314. Well-built defensive lineman for the NFL, but lacks the explosiveness to be more than a depth player with experience in many roles on the line. Okay, he's from Florida. So this guy would be like a rotational guy only. He's not a starter. Well, of course, this is the 5th round, so finding starters is not exactly what you're here for. Antoine Wells, Jr., wide receiver from Mississippi. I've heard of this guy. 6 foot 205. Wells puts out NFL level tape at South Carolina and James Madison, but looked far from an impactful NFL player in his final year at Ole Miss. While he is worth drafting, his approach might need a total reset when he gets to the NFL. Okay, well, let's see what his speed was if he ran at the combine. Control V for the time. So if no Ty Johnson, then I might be drafting a running back earlier, like a Cam Scattaboo in the 3rd round or 4th round, if he's available there. Somebody like that. Oh, he ran a 4.58. Hell no. Sorry, Mr. Wells. You do not have the NFL speed required. That's why you probably had a bad year. That's bullshit. Jordan James, running back. Rushing grade, 90.9. Zone grade, 82.5. Gap grade, 87.6. Elusive grading, okay. 5'10", 197. This is back-to-back years of elite rushing production, make him strong rotational option, but can he block? Probably not. He's 210. He's 210. Yeah. He should be available by next pick, though. So, Caleb Bransaw, safety. I'm all for bringing in more safeties. First look, 6 foot 196. It's a bigger, stronger nickel defender who brings a reliable Okay. So he's like a nickel, like a big nickel kind of guy. Okay. Top of this round. Yes, sir. We saw that. No, they extended Allen like 30 minutes ago. So he got 6 years and $330 million, $250 million guaranteed. This one's tough. This was tough. Man, oh man. Connor Colby, guard. You know what? We could look at a guard. Give some competition to Tyler Grable, 6'6", 230. It's from Iowa. That's where the offensive lineman factory is. Run blocking grade pretty high. Pass blocking grade pretty good. Zone and gap grade. Yeah, he's solid here. True pass set, pass block grade 42. So he's a guy who need development, which is why he's here. We're taking this guy right here. Bam. Connor Colby, guard, Iowa. Those look overpaid regardless. But that's neither here nor there for me to judge. I'm just saying, it's not something I would have did. Connor James. Let's see if there's some pass blocking in here. His elite, as his elite grades would suggest, James is a no-nonsense runner who takes care of the football while maximizing his yardage. At this stage, back his inconsistent hands and lack of experience in pass protection. Okay, so he's inexperienced in pass protection. Doesn't mean he can't pass protect, but it also means he shouldn't count on it. But he is of the right size. So there's that. Jordan James. And he ran a 4.55 40. Let me see. Where else we looking for? Running back. Okay. Jordan James, Taj Brooks, Texas Tech. Heard about him too. 5'10", 230. Hell yeah. Big boy. Though not heavily used as a receiver, Brooks has extensive experience running routes. He's also reliably and fundamentally sound pass blocker. There we go. Taj Brooks. Need a guy who can get out there and make sure our quarterback stays clean. 230 pounds? Yeah. Give me that. Quarterbacks are on the board. We already took one, so we ain't worried about that. Wide receiver, Kamiri Dyke. Very unfortunate name. 6'1", 195. Summer's coming. Stats. He's more of a slot receiver, looks like. We have enough of those, honestly. But this is a 5th or 6th round pick, so we'd be looking for him. No, there's the ESPN page. Give me his NFL draft prospect page. Here we go. Oh, no. If it's up to me, I'm bringing back Ty Johnson. But if we can't, because you can't unsee Ty Johnson now. You know what I'm saying? Ty Johnson has put out his tape against Detroit. The world was watching. Everybody was watching the Bills play Detroit. Ty Johnson balled out in that game, right? So I'm drafting this guy with the assumption that Ty Johnson may be gone, because if I'm Ty Johnson, I test the market right now. He might be a true number 2 back somewhere else. In Buffalo, He's our third down back. That's not our true number 2. If James Cook goes down, who's carrying the rock? Ray Davis is carrying the rock. Ty Johnson may want a bigger role, and to me, I'd rather have Ty Johnson, but if the money's not right, that's what I'm doing right there. But I would rather have Ty Johnson. I love the fact that he can pass block. I love the fact that he can run routes. And I love the fact that on third down, you don't know what we're doing. You don't know if we're running play action. You don't know if we're running the ball up the middle. You don't know if we're throwing the ball. Like, you don't know, because a guy like Ty Johnson's on the field, he can do it all. He's a do-it-all back, which is why he's, as Josh Allen says, the best third down back in the NFL. And so that's really the big ticket with me is if you don't bring him back, you got to find somebody who can do what he does. And DK, already saw that news. But yeah, I would bring back Ty Johnson. I would agree Benford should be the next one to get his extension. I love me some James Cook, and I think he should also get an extension. But to me, the running back is the least priority. Of course, I think that he is a playmaker. He can take the ball. He can take it into the end zone on any play from any point in the field. That 65-yard touchdown run against the Dolphins in the snow was crazy. Like, he was running in the snow. He's from Florida, and he's just like, you ain't catching me, dog. And they weren't. Just, let's go. And I'm just like, yeah, I love me some James Cook, but Benford to me is a top 5 corner in the NFL. PFF grade wise, he is that as well. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at. But this Kamir Dyke guy was a 4.34. He was used in the slot more, but 4.34, 40-yard dash, 4.27, 20-yard shuttle, 3 cone drills, 6.82. He graded pretty damn good. Athleticism score of 87. And we're in round 6. This is where you draft athletes, baby. This is where you draft athletes. And so Kamir Dyke. Ooh, Ollie Gordon's there too, but I already drafted a running back. Kamir Dyke, welcome to the Buffalo Bills. Fast son of a... You know what's up. You know what's up. All right. We draft again here. And see my draft picks. There we go. My picks. Took a D lineman, an edge rusher, a corner, a wide receiver, a safety, a QB, a linebacker, a guard, a running back, and another wide receiver. So I got 2 wide receivers in this draft, both of them fast as hell. One of them third rounder with a third round grade on them, and the other one a 6th rounder with a 6th round grade on them. So yeah, drafting people where they should be drafted. Let's see. See if we got another DB, another corner, another defensive tackle, or something like that. Because defense is really where we need to be focused at. Cam Horsley, Boston College, defensive line, 6'4", 306. Back to the stats, 79 graded. Pass rush, 68.2. Run defense grade, 84.5. Yeah, I'm going after that right there. On obvious rundowns, Ed Oliver is not really that great against the run. He's solid. You get somebody else who can rotate in there with him, bam. D-line, right there. I like that. And I have no more picks. We'll see how PFF graded my mock here, but I enjoyed doing it. It was fun. Gave me an extra 45 minutes of showtime. And there's 894 of you guys. I hope you guys are liking, sharing, and subscribing to this content. And looking down at the ticker below, you can get your Built-in Buffalo merch at builtinbuffalostore.com. All right, Tyler Williams, an A-. Jack Sawyer, a B-. Darian Porter, an A-. Trade here. Isaiah Bond, C+. Bah, bite it. Jonas Sanker, B+. Kyle McCord, B+. Cody Lindenberg, A-. I like Cody Lindenberg from Minnesota. I like that kid. I really do. Connor Colby, guard from Iowa, B+. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Taj Brooks, halfback, Texas Tech. Hey, gave me a C. I don't care. I need a running back. If we don't have Ty Johnson, I need a big running back who can go out there and blast a linebacker who's coming through the hole to tackle my quarterback, right? We just paid Josh Allen $330 million. I need a running back on third down who can protect our biggest asset. 230-pound running back Taj Brooks, he can do that. You give Josh another weapon in Kamir Dyke. Freaking 4.3 speed. 6th round, you get 4.3 speed at receiver, you go for it. And then Cam Horsley, another run-stopping defensive lineman out of Boston College, a B, overall draft grade, a B+. Hell yeah, guys. That was fun. But we're going to stop sharing that. Boop. Your boy Izzy is back by himself on the screen. Let's go. But guys, there's something in my... Oh, okay. Guys, that is our show. It has been a pleasure to have all of you guys here. Much love and go Bills. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.